The Vanished City of the Blue Light, a forgotten American mystery. If you walk into the deserts of Nevada today, you'll hear only the sound of wind pushing grains of sand across a barren, sun-beaten land. But if you listen closely, very closely, you might sense something stranger. A hum, a vibration, a whisper of an ancient past that should not exist. This is not a myth. This is not a campfire tale. This is the story of the United States' most astonishing forgotten city, a place early explorers claimed glowed at night with a strange blue radiance, a place older than the native civilizations known today, a place that mysteriously vanished. History books rarely talk about it. Archaeologists avoid debating it, but the traces remain. This is the secret history of the Blue Light City of Nevada and the extraordinary events that followed its discovery. 1. The First Sight, 1827. In the winter of 1827, American trapper Elias Harper, a man known for bravery, whiskey, and terrible luck, wandered deep into what was then uncharted territory beyond the Sierra Nevada. Harper had lost his horse, half his belongings, and most of his patience. Snow made the mountains impossible, so he dragged himself into the desert hoping to reach California. On the fourth night, he saw something impossible. Not a fire, not a camp, not a star. Harper saw a soft blue light glowing beneath the desert floor, a massive circular outline stretching nearly a mile wide. Thinking he was hallucinating, he approached with caution. The sand felt warm under his hands. Suddenly, a section of the ground gave way, and he slipped into a narrow shaft. What he saw below shocked him to his core. A cavern. Solid stone walls, carvings older than anything he had ever seen, and at the center, a giant crystalline structure pulsing faintly with blue light. Harper scrambled out and ran for days. Back in Santa Fe, he told his story. People laughed. Newspaper editors dismissed him as a drunk. Scholars called him a poor man's Marco Polo. But one man was interested, a wealthy Boston antiquarian named Jonathan Wexford. 2. Wexford's Expedition, 1828 to 1830. Wexford was obsessed with America's unknown past. He believed that long before European colonization, and even before many known native cultures, ancient civilizations existed across North America, but were wiped out by catastrophic events. Harper's story was exactly the kind of madness that excited him. By spring 1828, Wexford organized an expedition funded by 3 investors and guarded by 8 hired men. They carried journals, measuring instruments, manuscripts, and crates of tools. After weeks of travel through brutal terrain, and arguments, injuries, and 2 desertion attempts, they found what Harper claimed he saw. A faint, circular blue glow shimmering under the moonlight. This time, the ground didn't collapse. This time, they dug. After 2 days of labor, the sand gave way to a massive stone staircase leading downward. The team entered the earth. What awaited them was one of the greatest archaeological discoveries on American soil, yet almost no one today knows it ever happened. 3. The Lost Chamber. The staircase led into a perfectly engineered corridor. The air was dry, preserved. Wexford's notes describe it as entering a world untouched by time. The walls displayed carvings of a civilization unlike any known native or Mesoamerican group. Figures with elongated headdresses, circular symbols resembling astronomical charts, and strange depictions of magnetic fields, and repeatedly an image of a towering crystalline monolith. After 20 minutes of walking, they found the heart of the ancient structure. A circular hall with a domed ceiling, stone pillars covered in metallic flecks, and in the center, the blue crystal. It wasn't a statue. It wasn't a gem. It appeared to be a naturally formed mineral tower, 10 feet tall, glowing on its own with a soft, rhythmic pulse, almost like breathing. When one of the guards touched it, the glow brightened instantly. The men leapt back in fear. Wexford wrote, "It reacted to human touch. This stone is not a relic. It is a machine." 4. The anomaly. Over the next week, the team cataloged everything they could. The hall was nearly 4,000 years old, older than the pyramids of Mexico. Metallic dust in the stone pillars had electromagnetic properties unknown at the time. Carvings described a colossal flood followed by migration into what is now Nevada. The blue crystal appeared to be an energy device of unknown purpose, but there was something more chilling. Whenever the team spent extended time near the monolith, they reported headaches, light hallucinations, the sound of distant chanting, visions of cities built from light. One journal entry described an overwhelming sensation of being watched. On the 8th day, the glow intensified unexpectedly. The men were terrified, demanding they leave. Wexford reluctantly agreed to pack up samples and exit at dawn. They never made it out. 5. The collapse. At 3:17 a.m., the entire chamber began to tremble. Wexford's journal, the last surviving record, says, "The crystal is emitting a sound, not a hum, something like a horn. The pillars are vibrating. I fear the structure is awakening or dying." Moments later, the domed ceiling cracked. Sand poured in like a tidal wave. The outer halls collapsed, and within minutes, the lost city sealed itself forever. Only 4 members survived: Wexford, 2 guards, and the cook. They clawed their way out of the desert with nothing but 3 journals and 1 small crystal fragment Wexford had kept. The investors were furious, the academic community mocked them, and Wexford fell into obsession and isolation, trying to decode the carvings from memory. In 1833, he published a private manuscript claiming, "The ancient civilization possessed advanced geological technology. The blue crystal was a form of energy generator. The Nevada desert once held a massive pre-Columbian city. The collapse was triggered by reactivation." The manuscript was dismissed as insanity. Wexford died in 1841, penniless. 6. The fragment that shouldn't exist. In 1906, Wexford's great-grandson donated a box of his belongings to a small Boston Historical Society. Inside that box was his journals, his sketches, and the small blue crystal fragment. Decades later, during a 1948 mineral analysis, a lab technician made a discovery that shouldn't have been possible. The fragment wasn't any known mineral. It emitted faint electromagnetic pulses, and when placed in darkness, it produced a soft blue glow. Scientists wrote off the anomaly as contamination, The fragment was quietly locked away. But the story was far from over. 8. The U.S. government steps in, 1952. The 1950s were the era of nuclear testing in Nevada. The desert shook with explosions, shock waves, and radiation. In 1952, a small tactical detonation 60 miles from Wexford's recorded coordinates triggered something unexpected. For 6 minutes, pilots reported seeing a blue circular shimmer rise from beneath the sand before vanishing. The military sent a small geological survey team. Documents declassified in 1998 confirmed they found evidence of a massive underground structure. Electromagnetic readings were abnormal. Metallic dust samples matched no known geological profile. The region was marked restricted for national security reasons. From that moment on, the lost city was buried deeper, not by sand, but by secrecy. 8. Modern exploration attempts. Over the last 50 years, researchers and explorers have searched for Wexford's site, but the desert changed drastically due to government control, nuclear activity, and shifting topography. Still, strange reports persist. 1974, a hiker claimed to see a faint blue glow under the ground at night. 1991, seismologists recorded rhythmic vibrations with no geological source. 2003, a satellite photo showed a perfect circular outline in the sand, later classified. 2016, an amateur explorer picked up metallic debris that exhibited mild radiation and unknown composition. Every discovery pointed to the same conclusion. Something is still buried beneath Nevada. Something is still active, and whatever it is not natural. 9. The most chilling theory. In 2021, a group of independent researchers published a controversial hypothesis. The ancient civilization that built the Blue Light City might have been masters of geomagnetic engineering, capable of generating energy using mineral resonance, possibly wiped out by a massive geological disaster, able to manipulate crystalline structures for technology, and the crystal itself may have been a power source, a beacon, or a signal amplifier. Some even suggest it was part of a network stretching across ancient North America, explaining the geometric mound systems of Ohio, the astronomical alignments of Chaco Canyon, the magnetic anomalies in Wyoming, and the identical symbols found in Nevada carvings. If true, then American prehistory is far more advanced than recorded, and the lost Blue Light City wasn't an accident. It was a technological hub. A hub that woke up for a moment in 1828, and again in 1952, and might still be waiting. 10. The final mystery, the humming desert. In 2019, researchers from UC Berkeley recorded a persistent low-frequency hum in a remote region of the Nevada desert. It wasn't wind, it wasn't seismic, it wasn't military. And strangest of all, the frequency matched the electromagnetic pulse recorded from Wexford's crystal fragment in 1948. It is as if the desert itself is humming, breathing, signaling, trying to be found again. Epilogue: What lies beneath? Today, the location of the Blue Light City remains officially unknown. Most historians dismiss it as a myth. Government agencies deny any involvement, and the crystal fragment sits quietly in a sealed vault. But locals near restricted areas still speak of nights when the desert floor glows faintly blue. and pilots occasionally report seeing a perfectly circular shimmer that disappears before they can get a second look. Maybe the ancient city was real. Maybe Wexford lost his mind. Maybe the desert hides more secrets than we understand. Or maybe, just maybe, an entire chapter of American history lies beneath the sand, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover it. Until then, the mystery remains. A forgotten city, a forbidden light, a story too strange for textbooks, but too real to ignore.